Mm-hmm.
Hi, everybody. You've reached Ben Baker, and you are watching the Your Living Brand live show. Welcome again to the show. It is August 9th. It's 10 o'clock in the morning, and here we are in sunny Richmond. Well, it's not so sunny today. We've still got all the fog coming in from the fires up north, and I'm hoping in the next couple of weeks this fog's going to dissipate, but it is amazing how much cloud cover we have just because of the smoke, and you can smell it. But you know what? We're inside. We're doing well. We're having a great show, and thank you very much for being part of the show. Today's show is with Lorne Kotzer. Now, Lorne is the owner, the president, the CEO, the chief bottle washer of Soft Stuff Creations. Now, what they do and have done for many, many years is make amazing custom stuffed animals and head covers. I'm going to let Lorne talk about it. He does an incredible job. You know, we're going to talk about product safety. We're going to talk about the things you need to know, what makes you different, what makes you unique, and what are the things that you really need to think about when you're creating something special like this. But you know what? This is what the show is about. Our show is about figuring out how do you be different at what you do. There's lots of people out there that make custom plush toys. But it's what differentiates you. What makes you different? What makes you unique? What makes people trust you? What makes people want to deal with you rather than somebody else? And that's what I want to explore on the show. You know, so let me bring Lorne on board and let's get started.
Hi there.
Hello, Lorne.
Hi there. Nice to see
you. How are you?
Very good.
Very good. So you're coming to me live. Where are you now? You just changed offices. You're in Surrey now, right?
South Surrey.
Yeah.
And 192nd and 22nd. Brand new building, twice the size of our old place in Richmond.
Which was a big place to begin with.
Yeah, so we're growing. It's fun. It's good. And we need, anybody who comes down here, please stop in.
That's right. You're going to see soft stuff plush like you've never seen before. Lots of custom stuff that's unique and different. So let's start off. Tell me the story of your company, Lorne. Tell me, where did you come from and where are you going?
Well, Soft Stuff started in 2009, but previously I had a big history with my family business, which is based in Toronto. And I started the company as a new company in 2009, and I've been in plush since about 1985.
So you've done this for a few years.
Yeah. In 99, I moved from Toronto to Vancouver and opened an office just for custom plush toys. And going great since then. We had a vision of creating the best service, best custom plush toy company anywhere, Canada and the United States. So that's what we're aiming for.
That's great. So tell me what differentiates you. I mean, you and I go to Vegas every year. Mm-hmm. There's 3,300 booths. Now, they don't all sell plush, thank God. That'd be a lot of plush guys. But what do you do that the other people don't? Because, I've dealt with you. I've known you for years, and I know that you guys do some special things. And I want you to tell everybody what makes you different, and, why do your customers come back year after year?
Well, I've done at least 3,000 custom projects, maybe 5,000 custom stock T-shirt bearers and that sort of thing. So we got a lot of experience. When somebody's looking for a purple hippo, we've probably done it. So we have done everything. It's rare we get surprised. And we like dealing with new projects. Mm-hmm. We're all, everybody here is excited on every project. Everybody, when somebody calls us, we answer the phone. We talk them through the project, and we try to give everybody, undivided attention, because every project is new. And for a lot of people, it's the first time they've ever done a custom plush toy. So we don't want to get blasé about it. We don't want to get bored of it. We make sure every project is treated as something new and exciting. And for the people that are doing it, it is. So we understand that and we enjoy it.
Perfect. So what are the type of questions you would ask somebody when they came to you with a brand new project?
Well, first question is, how many are you looking for? That's the big, we do have minimums. What purpose is it for? Is it for a giveaway, a trade show giveaway? Is it going to be sold for a fundraiser? What the vision is? What the purpose of the toy? Because we will create the toy to fit what the project, what the circumstances, and everybody's different. There's the questions of delivery time and quantity and the design and the price point, obviously.
Right.
So go ahead.
Oh, so sorry. Yeah, beyond the price, because you know what, if it gets down to price, we're all in trouble. Because when all we have to differentiate ourselves is by price, then we're fighting a margin game.
Yeah.
And you know what, people can always buy stuff cheaper.
Yeah.
My assumption is that, and why I know a lot of people like dealing with you is your years of experience.
The experience, and our knowledge of safety. Toy safety is a big concern these days. Most companies that do a little plush don't really have a good grasp of it. It's very tricky. There's a lot of new stuff. It's always changing. Often our product, even for Canadian distributors, will end up in the US. So we have to know the US system. We have a lot of going to Europe as well. So we need to keep on top of the safety issues and give everybody confidence that there is no issues. We actually say no to a lot of projects because they're not safe, and we'll try to tell them how they should do it. If a lot of people will have maybe experience with little bears with plane goggle, pilots, bears. Most what you see on the market is not safe, and we tell them how to do it safe. That's just an example, but there's a lot of knowledge that we have to give people, or do this, or they can pass on to their clients.
Because safety is a big deal. Safety is not a big deal just for safety's sake. Yeah. It's for brand management's sake. There's nothing worse than a recall. If you're a bank or an insurance company or a big grocery store and you've ordered 5,000 plush,
or
and you've just gone,
and
you've just gone out in the marketplace and you just bought whatever was cheapest, and all of a sudden an eye falls out, or a kid gets has a choking fit off one of the toys, or the paint ends up having some lead in it or whatever. It's a horrible thing that one kid is hurt.
Well, luckily or thankfully, I've never had a single issue.
Yeah.
All these years, and millions of pieces have gone out the door. So, even before there was legislation, there's this common sense on how to make a product proper. You could test all you want, but if you don't design it properly, you got problems. So, we get requests all the time for things we don't consider safe, so we won't do it.
Right.
And
that reflects well on people's brands, because
I think so, yeah.
It's all about trust.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about trust. It's trust within the entire chain. People are trusting you to create something that's going to be safe for people, and when people receive these plush, they're assuming that they're going to be safe, and they're assuming that that nothing's going to hurt their kids. And if it does, I'm not saying that yours ever did, but if somebody's ever did, the ramifications to somebody's brand for saving 50 cents on any stuffed animal can be millions of dollars.
Yeah, and reputation. So nobody wants to be on a recall list ever.
Ever. No, and and as you said, Lord, it says there's different specifications for different. The United States has different specifications than Canada does, Europe. But you're right; it all comes down to common sense. And go ahead.
Yeah, no, I actually when I go to China, I see product being made that made for other importers that I would never buy, and it's not shared. There are laws, but there's ways to skirt around it. So common sense is the number one thing. That's what we use first. It doesn't look like a safe toy, we're not going to make it for somebody.
So what would be the top things that you would watch out for if somebody came to you with a program and wanted to create a new plush? What are the top words that are coming out of people's mouths that say, we really shouldn't do it that way?
Well, a lot of people want magnets in their toy. so the hands will close together, or it will go on a fridge, like a little fridge magnet plush toy. One of the things in China is that they X-ray every plush toy now to look for metal.
Right.
So it actually goes through a drop in a metal detector. So and they're looking for stray needles or things, who knows what could be dangerous. If you have a magnet or any metal parts in your toy, they can't do this. They need to, they have to hand X-ray each piece, which is not something they're going to do. So why take that risk?
Right.
Even though the magnets are still legally safe, it creates a potential problem.
It could be hiding another problem.
Yeah, exactly. So that's one example. There's other mostly small parts things, and that's the big issue. Is well, people think, oh, I'll put age 3 and up, but going back to common sense, a 1-year-old can't read a label. So they're going to gravitate to a toy, even though it says 3 and up, which is with a small part. So we like to aim all our product for all ages and test accordingly, not just 3 and up. And people feel, oh, I can put a label will protect us. It may not. But if you can design the toy that's safe for all ages, that's the way to go.
Absolutely.
So it's like not finding these loopholes. I don't want a loophole. I just want to make it proper. And that's the way to do it.
It's a lot less headaches in the long run, right?
I recently did a safety seminar. One of the loopholes that I discovered is in the U.S., companies that are who claim to manufacture under 1 million US don't have to have third-party testing.
Right.
And then they ship to Canada. And many of the American companies don't, they might do US testing, but they probably don't do Canadian testing. So that's another issue too that we, as a Canadian supplier, understand.
Gotcha. Interesting. And that's the thing is that the border, is fluid in some respects. And what may work in one country is not going to work in another. So, another thing that, you probably work with your clients well on is say exactly where is this stuff going? And where, how is it going to be used and by whom? And I think that those are key things that probably make your life a lot easier. That if you can understand, what are the objectives? Who are things going to? How are these things going to be distributed? There are things that are going to make people's lives a lot easier.
And over the years, I've gone to many meetings with distributors to their clients who I don't take a card or anything, but they just want the customer wants the answers.
Sure.
And that's something we provide. Well, because, just to reassure and educate the client, because the promotional business is great, but sometimes getting that information can be a broken telephone. So we try our best to communicate the safety aspects, the design issues, so everybody's on the same page.
Right, and that's a lot. That's also good for you because when you're talking about the broken telephone, especially if you're dealing through a third party, you're dealing through a distributor, is that they may not be as educated on the toy as you are and the plush as you are, and you don't understand the customer's real needs because you're going through an interpretation. Go ahead.
Good distributors, the ones that do well with us over the years, are the most open. We're not after their clients. We just want everybody to be happy and make the best product. So it's not, we really are too busy to jump around and not play the game right. So we want to get the right information. We will, and often though, over the years, people will ask us, can you just talk to so-and-so, where we have a conference call with the client, and we don't talk about prices or anything, but we talk about all the issues of safety and design and product development and that sort of thing.
And I think that makes things a lot more valuable, not only to your clients, the distributors, but to the end users as well, because they feel that, you know what, they're getting solid information from the manufacturer of the product who can understand what their individual needs are without having to go through interpretation.
Yeah, and then my role in the company, I'm always available, and I help our sales team, and I'll sit in every time to help them with these questions. So everybody, I'm not the world's expert, but I have a lot of experience, so I try to pass it on as best I can. Because, if our we have good salespeople, but they haven't been doing this for 20 years plus.
Right.
That sort of is it's something I can add to the mix, which I think is good. Also, within the promotional world, a lot of our distributors have never done a custom plush toy.
Right.
It's a 4-month, 5-month, 6-month process. It's a lot more complicated than mugs and pens and all the regular type of stuff. So, which is interesting because I think only about 10% of the promotional distributors actually attempt this. A lot of them are just, they go more the easy route. But if you want to look after your clients, you should be doing everything, especially the full custom projects. There's other products that are also full custom, but it's sort of a bit higher level than some do, and some are a little intimidated to jump in and do it. It's really not that hard.
Yeah.
But it is a longer process than normal.
But it is a detailed process, and that's where I think you add the value, is that the fact that you're going to look at your years of experience and be able to sit there and say, you know what, here's a better way to accomplish the same thing. Yeah. Here's a different way to look at things in order to be able to sit there and say, okay, we can meet your price point, we can meet your objectives, we're gonna be able to do the type of things that you're wanting to do. But let's take a look at it and said, instead of doing X, let's mock up Y as well, and sit there and say, let's take a look at both options and see, Mr. Customer, which way works best for you. Yeah.
It's also at the factory level. Part of what I do is I go to the factories 3, 4, 5 times a year. Every day when we have a new project, we have a meeting in here to decide which factory. We use about 4 or 5 factories. They all have specialties, or some are more. They're all good factories, but they all have their strengths and weaknesses.
Absolutely.
So we decide which factory uses for which project we'll send this to which factory. It's funny when we get people who they go on the internet and they find an Alibaba type of factory. There are about 400 plush toy factories in China. About 380 I would never, ever use. There's only about 20, 30 factories tops. And then those are their specialties.
Right.
So the odds of somebody going on the internet and finding a correct factory is very remote.
Well, it's also the fact that you've built trust with those factories.
Yeah,
over years.
And those factories rely on our business.
Exactly.
We 1 to 5 custom plush orders a day we send. So we keep our factories very busy, and they rely on us, and they don't mess up.
Yeah.
But if you just out of the blue, you might get lucky and get a good factory, but odds are you won't, and they won't really care because you're just a one order and cross your fingers. So it's very important to what we add. Other companies do this too, but I think we have done a very good job with our factories. Most of my factories have been with me over 10 years. So,
that's a long time. That's a good vendor relationship,
especially in China. So we work it very hard, and they're not always on time perfect, but they're pretty good, and we have very good communication back and forth.
Excellent. Well, these are great things because as a business, when you're dealing with something custom, things can go wrong. They can go wrong. And the better you have a relationship with a company that's been there before, that's done this before, knows where the problems can be, and have the ability to sit there and say, Mr. Customer, here's the issue. Here's the 3 different ways we can fix this. my supplier, my factory is willing to do this, or this. This is what I suggest. As an end user, it makes you feel a lot more comfortable and a lot more confident that things will end up right in the end.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a big, value that you can add to your customers.
Yeah. Well, it's managing customers' expectations. We realize every project is new for somebody, and they might want to see multiple swatches and renditions, and which aren't really necessary. So we have to smooth that up a bit and help them understand the process, because people get kind of concerned about, how it's coming and that sort of thing. Well, actually, one of the projects we're working on now is to do more of an online project management system where our clients, and maybe other companies do this, but we're working towards it, where you could log in, see where your samples are, add your comments, so you could be more transparent about the process.
Right.
Yeah. One of the things people complain, it took 4 months. Then we realize, if we do the math, it was with them for a month of it.
Mm-hmm.
We give it to you, you send it to your client, and that time somehow never counts. So, but if that, we'll try to make this more open so everybody can be part of on the same page.
Sounds good.
What their project is, and it's that the technology part is important, and that's we're trying to grow with that as well.
Yeah, and that's what most customers don't understand. It doesn't matter what the business is.
Mm-hmm.
Day one doesn't start until the final signature is off on the proof.
Mm-hmm.
Until you decide what you're going to do, why you're going to do it, how you're going to do it, and everything's been signed off and agreed upon.
Yeah,
you're not at day one yet.
Yeah, and the factories in China, they don't start until they won't order the material until I give them the go.
Absolutely.
So until they do, so there's a lot of issues of timing. It's because we're waiting. So you got to start the clock at some point, and then off we go.
But changes get made, and that's what you have to do. As a supplier, you have to be able to sit there and say, absolutely, Mr. Customer, we're happy to make these changes. It's going to cost you X, but we can make those changes. So setting those expectations.
Yeah, so it's expectations, the customer, but we deal with a lot of events, the time-sensitive orders, tons of those, and we have to be very, that's one of the first questions: when do you need it for?
Exactly.
If you have to fly in stuff, maybe if up front you have to, that's one thing, but nobody wants to hear they have to fly stuff in.
Exactly. And I always tell people, if you're dealing overseas, and I've been dealing overseas for 20 years now, is if you have a specific date, back 30 days off of that, and then then go backwards from there. Because something is going to happen. It's going to miss a ship in port. The customs are going to keep a container under lock and key for an extra 2 weeks. There's a million things not under your control. Things might have shipped exactly on time from the factory, but you know what? Things can happen in transportation, especially when you're dealing with sea orders that you never assumed. And you have to take those things into consideration. So never plan right up to the date, because you know what? If you do, something will go wrong. Yep. And the more we can sit there and manage those expectations for our customers and put them in a position of saying, you know what? If you need it here on September 1st, let's assume you need it here on August 1st. All right, let's back 90 days off of that for actual production and shipping. And let's add another 30 or 45 days on top of that to be able to make sure we can go back and forth with proofs.
Yeah. Although I do like our distributors to give us the actual event date, and we'll, so sometimes we have to do heroics, that we didn't have to.
Yeah.
So, if we know the date, we know enough to, time it properly.
Oh yeah.
So, and one of the things that we're in Vancouver, which, our customers back east, say, oh, it's so far away. We're only 17 days by ocean from China.
Exactly.
So we can get it by ocean to our warehouse faster than anybody in Canada. And then we have the options of airing or getting, different types of air service to anywhere in Canada quicker than if it came to Toronto by ship and then distributed. So there is an advantage of being in the West Coast. So
lots of advantages of being on the West Coast,
among other things. But
exactly.
There is a shipping advantage. So, you should work with. Don't be afraid to work with companies in Vancouver.
Exactly. So, Lord, I mean, my big thing with you is what I see is your value to your customers is communication, trust, and experience, and relationships with your plants. I mean, those are the key things that I see that set you apart and make you a valuable commodity.
Well, thank you.
Anything else that I'm missing? No,
I think that's pretty good. I can talk a lot about safety and other issue things, but it's give us a call, and anybody have questions about toys, product safety, I'm always here.
Absolutely. So one last question, then I'm going to let you go.
Okay.
So if you had to have people remember you or Soft Stuff Creations about one thing, when you leave the room, what do you want people to remember about Soft Stuff Creations or Lorne Kotzer?
If they love their product and what we did for them, I'd be very happy. I look at in our showroom and our warehouse of all the samples we've done. Mm-hmm. Everyone has a good memory. I love all the projects I've done. So if they forget about me but remember what we did, I'll be very happy.
That's great.
All righty.
That's great. So, Lorne, thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining me. I really appreciate your time. I appreciate the time that you spent with us, and just hang on the line. I'll be right with you. So, once again, this is your living brand. What we want to do is we want to take the time to understand that every brand is unique. Every brand is different. Every brand does something that's a little different and a little bit special. And you know what? These are great things. So take the time and figure out what makes you unique. Take the time to figure out on what you do well and go from there. So next week we got Russell Bird joining us from the Promo Addict. Russell's great because Russell actually was a mentee of mine. And I've watched him go from being employee to employer and has done an incredible job. He's built an amazing company, and he does things that are really unique and different. And I think that you're going to have a great idea and some great ideas of watching him. Now, the last thing I want to tell you guys about is something special that's happening on October 3rd. October 3rd, my buddy Gary and I are holding a course in Vancouver called Brand Communicate and Lead for Success. Now, the website on it is GettingYOUNoticed.ca. That's GettingYOUNoticed.ca. Take a look at the website. Have a look. It's designed for senior level managers and executives, and the role is to understand your brand, your vision, and your value, and how does it make you a better leader. Come and join us. And as a special thing, here's an extra $50 coupon for the course. If you put in your brand marketing 50, you'll get an extra $50 off the course. So come and join us. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have an absolutely wonderful day, and thanks for joining us.